Recording. Hello, are we live? Can you see us? Nobody's there right now.
I don't know why my hair started acting up. Before it was always so loyal to me. No? No.
We are public.
Okay. That's a start. Do we get a link down in the bottom?
No, that's the server. Oh, this one.
What's the link?
Oh, I know like 5 people on WeChat.
I'm well aware of certain things.
We're here, guys. In case you are watching, we're just sharing the live link to the live stream.
Yeah.
And we're still waking up.
Yeah. I can't. Hello. Computer's a little slow.
Yes. Yay for technology.
Yay.
Oh, one person's watching.
Hey.
Hello. Leave us a message in the chat box. We are just sharing the link out there. So give us a second. We will be with you. There's no thumbnail attached. So.
What? No, that's the wrong one.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the Lingling from Montreal.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Am I in the wrong? Did I pick the wrong thing? Hi.
Hi, guys.
I see you too now, Jessie. Good morning from Morocco. Nice to see you, Zakia and Brad.
I don't know why the link is weird.
Are we in the right? We are just checking things. It's our second time. So we are just making sure we are all in the right spot. Oh no, you know what?
Huh?
I couldn't get it to go into a live into the other one.
Oh.
Should we?
Yeah, it's the first one again.
Guys, we're gonna go offline for 1 second and get back into the right one. Sorry.
No? Hello? Starting coder. It's saying have a feed because no video has already been selected. Change featured video. What? Oh.
Which one's that?
Oh, I'm still here. Okay, maybe we just change the name of this one.
But it might go over the old one. Guys, if you can hear us, we're just trying to figure out because I think we are on the original one for last time. And we want to make sure that we have a completely separate one. So we're going to log out of this one and do our best to be back as soon as possible with the right stream. Okay, so keep an eye out for us.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try here.
Maybe refresh.
View and watch page.
Maybe refresh the live control room.
No.
Should have researched this a bit more.
Yeah.
Start encoder.
But what is encoder?
It's the OBBS.
Oh, but that one is.
Wait, I think I saw something yesterday. If I can look quickly. Broadcast. Oh, broadcast alert. There it says broadcast alert.
Okay, fair enough. Found that.
How do I get out of this now?
Just tell me what you want. I'll lead.
Okay.
Open
not
in
that.
a new window. It's please.
And we'll check the title below.
Oh, only the chat.
Oh. Let's go back up.
Oh. Starting coder. It is running. So that was the ingestion.
Okay. Yeah, it asks something. Select your encoder, other encoder. See, it kind of wants us to put this in the encoder.
This?
Yeah, but I don't know where. Maybe in
Source?
click on the Ling web.
What?
The Ling web. No, that's not it. Settings, maybe. Settings. Stream. Is there a stream key? Oh, it's the same key. Use anywhere else. Oh, source. No, well, did you just have a source?
Maybe we just go back to the other one.
Or start a new one and then we can just copy the new information.
Yeah. 12 already watching.
Okay, I guess we don't have a choice.
No. Okay. I'll fix it later. Okay.
Every hello.
Yeah. So many who's awake. Yay, so exciting.
Yeah, so happy
Hi,
to see you
guys.
all.
It's so nice. Did you see our link somewhere? Because we tried to spam everyone last night to make sure that somebody would be here when we were ready. And now we have problems with the technical stuff, so of course. Reload and it's fine, okay.
We're not sure if this is going to record in a separate live stream event or in the one we already did before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun to live stream the first times when you're learning the ropes.
It's really difficult. I don't know. I really thought it was just a push a button kind of thing, but no.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, there was a reminder on YouTube.
There was a reminder. We couldn't find it anywhere.
No.
And then when you go in the events that you've set up, it kept saying the encoder wasn't picking up. Anyways, we're learning.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're slowly learning here.
We're slowly learning.
Sorry for the little delay, guys. But today's topic is culture shock in China. And we have written a little list. We want to try to stick to the list. But if you have any questions concerning culture shock in China, please write it in the comments. And we'll try to answer as we move along. What is it called?
Move along.
Move along.
It would be great that if you have questions about the actual point we're talking about, we'll be happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
And when we are done with our list, we will be happy to answer any questions that you have at all.
Yes, and we did have breakfast already, and I'm also in Montreal for traveling.
Yes, we are in Montreal, Karina.
Yes.
Yeah, and yes, we had breakfast,
Yeah.
but we're still waking up. The coffee hasn't kicked in yet.
We're trying.
Yeah, we're trying.
Okay. Anyway, so let's get started
Yes.
on culture shock in China, because let's be honest, I do not believe you can get, go to China and not experience some kind of culture shock in a smaller or a larger portion. Can I say portion?
Yeah, you could say portion.
Or doses?
Hi, Ottawa. You're not far away.
Awesome. So the time fits you, yeah? I hope so.
That's
I hope
great.
It fits you. Yeah, we weren't sure about the time, but we wanted to make sure our European and Chinese audience could could come along as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Anyways,
So where shall we start?
where shall we start? Well, let's start with my first experience in China. So, Evelyne, she has been in China in February, and I have been in China for 4 years. So she was there for 6 days, and I was there for 4 years. So we have quite a bit of a different kind of, experience with China. I have a very long one, and sometimes
I have a tourist one.
yeah, sometimes I forget how it was before, and she is all new, like it's all new in her head. So yeah, I think we are a good combination.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We are a perfect combination.
I'm gonna leave tomorrow. So sad. Oh, let's not talk about that.
No.
Anyways, first time I came to China, it was in 2011. I was with an agency called Imachi. So they helped me during the whole process of like signing up for registering for a visa and planning all of my job things and all these kind of things. Everything was settled for me already, and when I arrived in China, they were already there to take care of me. So that was very easy, but I also had time on my own, and I'm very independent. I have been that always. So I just went out and started walking around Beijing. And one thing that really surprised me or shocked me in the beginning that I remember was the differences of poor and rich, because in Denmark it's very equal. So you might earn a little bit more, a little bit less, but most people are quite the same, and like everyone has a house and a car and a full-time job and a dog and 2 children. Like it's very, equal in my country. So coming to China, I suddenly saw these huge, expensive cars where there were guards just taking care of the cars besides the road. And then I would also see a donkey on this like 6-lane massive road, with a little man sitting in front. And I was just really surprised how somebody could be so poor and so rich. That was even not poor, right? Like I've been further out in the countryside in China, and this whole poor rich thing, I was like, whoa. Like, of course I knew about poor people before because I'd seen it in the TV, but like standing there and seeing people like that so close up, that was just another experience. And I was 19 and very naive, so I was like, huh? Whoa.
Yeah, there's a big class difference in the classes, you could say. I've seen it in South America, but I definitely saw it in China, but I only was in Beijing, so I only got like a one big city experience of seeing a different of classes. I didn't see that many rich people. I don't think I would have noticed them so much, but yeah, I could definitely tell that there was a less of an average middle class than that I'm familiar with. One thing that did strike me along those lines was I only saw one homeless person on my entire trip.
That's true. Actually, here, in Beijing, yeah, that's true.
In Montreal, not only are there a lot of homeless people, but there are a lot of homeless people in North America that come and vacation in Montreal on the streets because Montreal is so awesome. So in the summer, you get a lot of homeless people in Montreal.
That's true. That was the first thing I thought when I came to Seattle a few days ago, like last week. That there were so many homeless people. I was like, oh my God, they're everywhere here.
Hey,
whereas in China, they're just not there, and obviously it's because the government is trying to remove them. But that's a very big difference actually. If you go to China, you will always also wonder, where are they? You can find some at the big tourism spots and also at the train station. What happened?
We got ready real quick.
Yeah, we got a hair crisis here. Yeah, so you can find them, but it can be quite tricky to find them actually. Maybe I'll just leave it like that.
All right.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways.
Shall we hit another topic?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I would say for me is definitely, I did a lot of research before going on my 1-week vacation. I wanted to be well prepared for what is called a classical culture shocks. So I like to be very open-minded as well, and that helped a lot. And it's through that research that I met Lingling. Yeah. But one funny thing that I did come across that we always hear about is the concept of personal space is completely different than what I am familiar with.
Me too.
Yeah, so I think one of the first things I noticed
exactly like this all the time.
Because my first day I spent with like a Chinese guy that I met on Hello Talk, and we started walking, and he's like squishing me, and I'm like, oh, maybe he just accidentally bumped into me, so I gave him room, and he went back in, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is how friends walk. And also, just when you're walking down the street. Everybody's kind of in their bubble, and it's normal. I found in Beijing that if you're walking and you just kind of graze somebody like that on the street, it's not done hard. It's just, you graze me, and they don't even pay attention. They don't even look back. No. Here, if you do that, somebody's going to look at you and expect an apology.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, basically, in China, we just don't apologize when people do that. If you, what is it called? Just like
brush, like when you just brush somebody.
Okay, yeah. So if you brush somebody else, or even if it's like even harder than that, I've tried where people would like, I have my bag on the side, and then they would walk straight into the bag, and
they don't
like,
move.
Hey, what's going going on?
They're not going to move if they know that, but they're not going to hit you hard either.
They won't apologize. So don't expect that if you go to China. I was surprised about that in beginning because in Denmark, basically in the supermarket, if somebody wants to grab a milk in the fridge, like then the person will stand behind me and just wait. Like they won't say anything, even though I'm playing on my phone and like looking in the fridge or standing in front of the fridge. Like they're just gonna stand there and wait until I move. And it's just a huge difference with this personal space. And also, if you read about Danish people online, it will say that one of the stereotypes is that we will rather take the wrong bus than ask the person besides us at the bus stop. So it's a huge difference in China.
My biggest one, though, the personal space, was when I took my bus tour to the Great Wall of China. And obviously the guide was Chinese in the bus. And there was like 2 women sitting behind me on the bus that were Chinese. So while we were driving, the guide went to talk to these 2 ladies behind me. Where I was sitting, there was like, a bar in front to hold on. So the guide held on not to fall while she was talking with these 2 Chinese people behind. That just meant that she had her arm literally in front of my face like that for like 20 minutes. And I knew it was like the personal space thing, and I think any other North American tourist would have told her, "Hey, lady, like get your fucking my beep arm out of my face." But I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the flow.
Yeah.
And that's the attitude you gotta have with culture
shock.
I
was just about to say that. Just roll with it, adapt as much as you can. Like, if they totally crush your line, then of course you can say something. But really, I wouldn't bother. Many times in China, when I get angry because they do something I don't like, I just listen to my music, I calm down, and then I move on, because that's really the only way to do it. I'm just going to answer a question from...
That's true. There are too many people, that's why.
Yeah, so Theodore, he's asking, is language the biggest key to reducing culture shock?
That is one of our points. The language barrier.
Oh, yeah, the language barrier. Obviously, yes, because when you're speaking the language, it's easier to talk to locals about what is going on, why they're doing this, and they can also explain to you why people are doing this. And I feel like in general it's better with the language, but of course you could also find someone who speaks English, but it's definitely easier if you speak Chinese, because you will be able to talk to more locals about the experience. So I'll just give you an example. When I came to China, again, young and naive, I thought that everyone just had black hair and smaller eyes than me. There would be no other differences. I thought we would just have lots of fun. Suddenly I would have like 1 million Chinese friends and they would totally understand me, even though we grew up in different cultures. And I didn't know anything about cultural differences, and it's very interesting to me because I did study cultural differences before, but at that time I was just really like, oh, we're gonna be great friends. And then I was sent out into this little small town, and I was getting to know some Chinese people, and I realized, well, apart from the language barrier, when we started to understand what the other person said, there were so many things I didn't understand, like why were they saying this when I thought that, and why were they doing this when I did that, and like why did people think that it was so crazy that I went out traveling after graduation? Because that's what everyone did in Denmark. I really didn't understand what the problem was. So that's another. I learned. I think one of my culture shocks in China was actually understanding or getting to know cultural differences, or realizing that cultural differences, that is a real thing.
Yeah,
that was shocking to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, and even in my 1 week there, I definitely noticed a lot of cultural differences. The thing is, I found
you can't ignore them.
I was kind of overwhelmed the first 3 days, but I didn't realize it. Like I knew the day I got there. I was very lucky. I made some Chinese friends ahead of time on a great app, Hello Talk. I swear to God, I'm not sponsored, but I talk about them all the time.
She is.
It's a great way to meet people where you're going, because it's a language exchange.
Even if I talk to Chinese people all the time, I'm almost tempted to try it out because she's so excited about it.
It's really, really great. And I met 4 Chinese people ahead of time that I got there. So language barrier. My first day, my morning, somebody picked me up and I spent the day with them. Yeah. That was like a huge help for me, because I had somebody who spoke the language. And I was really overwhelmed overwhelmed by everything that I saw. Like visually, the architecture and everything is
China
different.
is overwhelming.
But I only realized 3 days later that I was overwhelmed by all of the cultural differences. Really the way people interact with each other, the level of noise that they talk in, everything is different.
Yeah.
And definitely language. I mean, you can get around it, but language is a barrier if you don't keep an open mind to it at all. I only had a couple of Chinese words that I learned that kind of got me around well enough. But I had read that most young people will be able to understand some basic English. And at one point I went like on my first day out on my own because I was with people my first 3 days. And I asked them like the directions to a big, the Summer Palace, which is pretty big. And I asked a very simple question in English and they couldn't understand me. So then I took out my tablet and I took out my map and I said, Zainali! And I pointed at my map and then they could answer, but they were like in their 20s and they didn't understand. Hello, Maya!
Hi, Maya. I think she wants the link for Hello Talk. They should sponsor her as well. Hello Talk is sponsoring Water Maya.
Oh, really?
Water Maya is our friend in China.
Yes.
Awesome that you're here. I just want to answer another question. One guy asked about food poisoning in China. Yes, I've had it before, but it's not serious. It was only like a one-day thing. You're sitting basically in the bathroom all day. You feel really bad. Because I have a sensitive stomach already, so at that time I saw a Chinese guy and he took me to the hospital because Chinese people are very concerned about your health all the time, especially if you're with someone. So he brought me there. I got a little bit of medicine and I slept, and next morning I was fine again. Yeah, there was another question. You guys asked so many great questions. I'm just trying to go up.
I'm going to answer Theodore's. What does vlogging, can you put us back on? There's a little delay if you look at just YouTube, so we got to do the other thing to see us live. So yeah, how has vlogging alleviated culture shock? In 2 ways. For me, it's getting ready for my trip. I specifically looked for channels of foreigners in China that looked like they were intelligent and they knew what they were talking about. I don't know why I fell on her, but that was a huge help for me to get ready and know what to expect. And I think also it's on the other side, it's very important for like the two of us. I mean, I've done a lot of vlogs on China. Obviously, it's not my main focus like Lingling, but I've done a lot. I have a lot of advice videos coming up. And I mean, Lingling and I are both the kind of people that we have an open mind and we like to teach and we like to share.
Yeah, we need to talk about it. It's actually, I just want to add something to it. It's a great question because actually when we talked about culture shock just before we had to make this video, we're like, okay, so what should I talk about? And to be honest, I was actually quiet for a minute or two. I was like, it's really hard to say what actually shocked me because, as I said, culture shock is not like, whoa, oh my God, this is crazy, I'm shocked. It's not like that. Culture shock can easily come sneaking from the back, and then over time, you know, you realize, oh, there are some things that I'm really surprised about or I think is really annoying, and that's kind of culture shock. So, super great question. I think
very good question.
Making videos for me made me understand Chinese culture on a total new level. Because you guys have questions, and I also probably didn't realize it, but I also did have questions. And now making videos just makes me understand all this China and culture shock and cultural differences so much more. It's amazing. I get like my hair is standing up now. Again.
Yeah, well, it's a way for us to interpret what we've learned to help the rest of the world be more open-minded. And the questions and the comments you guys ask us on live stream and on comments on our videos.
Thank you so much.
We love that exchange and sharing everything. Yeah. I like the comment. Somebody did comment about reverse culture shock, honking. Yeah, I definitely in China, there's a big difference on that level. One of mine, well, I wanted to just quickly say 2 things. 2 things really helped Lingling here in Montreal with our driving is an as insane. Like drivers will not speed up like in Beijing when you're walking, but in Montreal it's very common to run across the street and things like that. So she was ready for that. Yeah. She doesn't wait for the red light or the green light, which is awesome.
So it's culture shock when I go back home again, because suddenly everyone is waiting, even though no one is in the crossing, like cars. Not a single car.
And another thing that made her ready, I know this is like a little TMI, but at the cottage, we have an old septic tank. It's very delicate. So we have the habit at the cottage to throw our toilet paper in a basket next to the toilet. So she already knew that, which I know.
Yes. Okay, we have some more questions. I really love a fragrant springhead here. Is cultural difference, gap, shock just a polite alternative for social difference?
Where is that one? I didn't need to read it.
That's an amazing question.
Yeah.
A really, really tricky one as well, because it really got me thinking, is it just an excuse for a social difference?
It could.
It could be. I really think it depends on how you look at it. Even though I gotta say,
are we back online? Somebody said.
I hope we're.
Yananzu.
Yeah, it's a little.
The health is like, but we can't do anything about it.
The streaming is a little so. Yanan, if you are in China, it makes sense if it looks like it's offline, because I know how it works there.
Where Florida? No, the New York honking and driving is not the same, because in New York it's just being aggressive. And in China, they literally do it just to say, hey, by the way, I'm here.
It's warning. Yeah. It's like, I'm coming now, or I'm here now. And like, I actually, last time I was driving with one of my friends, because he didn't drive much before. He's Chinese, right? So I would actually honk for him, even though he was driving, because I was like, you have to warn them that you're there. And he was like, oh, no, what? And I was just like, honk, 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 They're just honking to tell you that before I thought everyone was angry at me all the time, because in Denmark you only do it if it's like emergency, or else people get super angry if you do that.
Guys, you got a bunch of great questions, but we're going to go back to the off-topic questions after. We just have a few more points we want to discuss, and then we'll answer all of your questions.
Yes.
So, okay. One thing, it's not a culture shock I had when I was there. Let's say it's more when I came back home. All of my friends asked me if I found the Chinese guys to be all short and nerdy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So that's a stereotype that's here, that all the guys are really short and nerdy. I'm 5'8". I think it's 173 centimeters.
You're a little taller than me.
173 centimeters. 74. So I said, no, actually, there are a lot of really good-looking Asian guys. There's a lot of good-looking Chinese guys. It's the same type of proportion than, let's say, in Montreal. And also that there are plenty of tall guys as well.
I actually thought they were short here in Montreal, to be honest. Like, I've seen a lot of...
That's all the Latin immigrants.
A lot of tall guys in China as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna touch on that one as well. Dating, obviously, cultural differences. Yay! You know that you've seen my other videos about this before. There are a lot of cultural differences, but it depends very much on what kind of Chinese person you're dating. Because when I came to China the first time, I thought, oh, the guys, they just really like me. That's amazing. I get so much attention. And after starting hanging a little bit with the guys, I realized, oh, it's more for my pale face, It's not so much for me. Like, they didn't really know about me. So that's the problem, when you're dating in China anyways. You really have to look out for these people and just ignore them. I'm better at it now, obviously. I know now who to look for, who not to look for. But yeah, before in the beginning, I was very surprised that they wanted to be with me, and then afterwards I realized, okay, it's just because I'm different. And also when you are together, many differences, also some similarities, but again, it depends on where the person is from. In the beginning, I dated guys from the countryside or smaller cities who had never talked to a foreigner before, with a different kind of mindset and thinking, whereas now I'm seeing guys from the big cities who have been abroad, even some who has been in Denmark, which is so much easier. We still have differences, cultural differences and personality differences, but sometimes it's just personality. It's not really cultural.
Yeah, we're just reading some of the comments.
Hello, Elton. Nice to see you. I hope it's okay. The time. What time is it in Malta right now?
Oh, he's the guy from Malta.
He's
She
the
told
guy
me about you.
She knows everything, guys. Hello. 生人 Oh, you're at your job still? 你还在工作吗?
Okay, I don't get that. How about I do the next one? Being stared at. That is...
that's a real thing.
That's a real one. But it's a fun one, honestly. Like, I've been there, I was only there 1 week. So I felt like, the latest Hollywood superstar. Like, in Beijing, in a bigger city, awesome. They're more used to seeing tourists, foreigners. So they stare. They do stare. But it's not a mean stare. It's not an intimidating stare, because I got that in Peru. It felt like in Peru, I thought I was an alien with green antennas. But there, it was just really a curiosity stare. And once I was a little more comfortable and courageous after a couple of days, when I would cross, especially the older men would cross, and they'd be like, and then I saw them and I was like, ni hao! And they were like, oh, ni hao! So that was a fun way of breaking the barrier a little bit. But yeah, you get stared at all the time. You really, and twice. A very common thing for, usually it's more tourists from smaller places in China that are in Beijing or just visiting around. Some of them who rarely see foreigners will come up to you and ask to take a picture with you, just so they can say they were with a foreigner. So that was a really fun experience. I really enjoyed it, but I don't know, Lingling, over a couple of years, maybe you get tired of it, or what's your reaction to that?
It really depends on my mood, to be honest. Like, usually it doesn't happen much in Beijing anymore, but a few days before I left Beijing, suddenly a man in the train, he wanted a selfie of me. Like, he didn't want a picture with me. Oh. He just wanted me to take a selfie with his phone, which was really awkward because he spoke very loudly and all the young people were like looking at me. That was really awkward. But, I did it anyways. I just like stood close to him, so he was still in the picture in the background. But usually it's more in the smaller cities, but it's mostly at the big sightseeing spots in other cities, not in Beijing. But like, if you go up north, last time my sister and I, we said yes a few times to take some pictures, and people just went crazy. Yeah. Oh my god.
In smaller places you have to say no, because then I think everybody will stop looking at the attraction and doing it.
That's the thing, you turn into an attraction.
Stefan, good question.
Very good question.
I'll answer my reaction, and then I'll let Lingling, because she's there more year round. I happen to go to Beijing in February when it's the absolute lowest point of foreign tourism and a low point in local Chinese tourism.
It was very comfortable, yeah.
It was comfortable. It was kind of quiet compared to what I expected. So when I was there were very little foreigners. Really very, very little foreigners. Like, I remember I went to what's the name of that street antique market? That what she said. I was there 2 hours, and I only saw another foreigner about an hour and 45 minutes into my being there.
Yeah, I think Stefan, he also said that that obviously China is like the size of Europe, so we can't compare Swedish people to Italian people. And yes, it's true, same in China, south to north, east to west. He's very right about that. There was no air pollution, and the pollution thing. The pollution thing. Different people, different opinions.
I just did a video on that last week, so you can check it out. I was there 6 days, and there was only pollution 1 day.
Yeah, and also in the winter, we had the red alert once in December, and then it was blue sky all January. February, we had one problem again, and then it was blue sky again for 6 weeks. The pollution is really not as huge as the media, the Western media, is telling people all the time. So don't be worried about that. My sister and my mother, they also came to China for 10 days in 2015 in January. And my mom, she kept asking, where's the pollution? Don't we have to wear the mask? And I was just like, no, it's blue sky. But yeah.
I guess you were unlucky, Stefan, when you went. Yeah. I guess, it's like any weather thing. You can't plan it. I was told also that if it's a windy day in the winter, it's better because it blows the pollution out, which was the case for Beijing. It was slightly cooler when I was there because of the wind, but that kept the pollution away. But the temperatures compared to Canada in winter did not compare. It was warm for me.
Yeah, it's not that cold. Also, Shenzhen, I see why. I can't read the traditional characters. You have to write in 简体字. Sorry, boys, capital.
Hi, Tandeka.
Yeah. So yeah, of course you have to. Yeah, thank you, Brad. I so agree. Brad, he says, wear a mask on really bad days. No big deal. I love Beijing. Same for me. I'm just like, those days when it's really, really bad, you wear a mask or you stay inside, and then the next day it's fine again. Like, it's really not a big deal. One thing though is that Beijing has sandstorms from Mongolia, Inner Mongolia. That's a little annoying when you're walking outside. You eat like a whole beach in a. Or like, yeah,
totally. There is an app for the index air quality, Stefan. I have it here. I can give you the name of it. Beijing air quality. If you can see, if I can point to it properly, this one. Beijing air quality. You can download that one, and when you're online. And it will tell you what the current air index is.
Yeah. Anyways, do we have more things?
Yes, we do. We have a couple more.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you want to...
I'll do one and then you want to...
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's scams everywhere for tourists, that for sure. But when I was researching my trip to China, there were a lot of videos about very specific scams, even in Beijing. Yeah. So that's a bit of a culture shock in that department. Yeah. Again, because it was super low tourist season for any kind of tourists when I was there, I wasn't approached for scams except for the tuk-tuks, but I mean, that's anywhere. But yeah, there can be a lot of interesting scams that are very tailored to Beijing tourists.
Yeah, but it's rare. Like, honestly speaking, I've tried it once during those 4 years in China that I've ever been fooled by Chinese people. I think in general they're super honest.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be afraid of traveling around on your own, even without speaking the language. One thing I just want to say, a little tip. Always get the price before you get into a cab. If they don't turn on the taximeter, get out again or get a price, because else he can charge you whatever he feels like. And
if you do agree on a price, make sure you write it down as well.
Just want to answer one question. Jay's World, he is asking, did you have to get a new phone number when you moved to China? I think there are some international SIM cards, but I would say yes, it's a good idea, because when you are in China, there is Wi-Fi everywhere, but usually you can only access if you have a Chinese phone number. So get a phone number and get a WeChat account as well. And
yes, Theodore, yes, there's the Baiju and the KTV, but the biggest scam that's the most common that people fall for is the green tea ceremony.
I don't think it's a scam. I think he's just asking.
Oh.
You can say no if you don't want to go to KTV or drink Baijiu. It's like Chinese people, they usually expect the guys to drink a lot of rice wine. Baijiu is rice wine. But I would say if you really don't like to drink it, just say you have an allergy, and then everyone will understand it. So I actually do that quite often because I don't like to drink. So it's easier for me just to say that my stomach can't deal with it. And it's kind of true anyway. So yeah, and KTV, they love KTV. You can go with them and then you can sit in the back. They're probably gonna ask you or talk you into singing a song, but if you really don't feel comfortable about it, it's totally fine to say no as well. We also have the last tip I just wanted to give you guys is that when dealing with culture shocks in China, I would definitely suggest you to find a mix of local friends and foreign friends, because the local friends will help you assimilate or adapt to the society, and you can talk to them about why do you guys do this and I do that, and it's interesting, but it's also a way of slowly learning to adapt to this kind of society if you're going to stay there for a longer time, and also just to understand why they do like they do. Whereas finding foreign friends is very important because you can talk about what the Chinese people do that you don't like and that you do like, and Chinese society in general, but you also get something from home, and that's very important. Like for me as well in Beijing, I have a great mix of different kind of friends, like different countries, nationalities, and Chinese. Big mix, because I get a little bit from everywhere and you learn something from everyone. I think that's amazing.
I just want to read this. Stefan said he got scammed, or he almost got scammed by a taxi driver in Shanghai, I think it was. Who was asking for an extra 100 RMB. And that was an excellent reaction you had. Stefan said he stayed very calm, took a picture of the license of the driver and told him that he would pay. And the driver got nervous.
That's true. I've done this before.
And then he told he didn't have to pay the extra money. So that was a really, really great thing to do.
That was a great tip. Thank you, Stefan. I forgot that. I've done that long time ago as well. Just took up my phone and was about to take a picture. They have the license, their name and number just in front of you. That's why I always sit in front. So I was just about to take the picture and the man was like, oh, no. And then suddenly the price was low again. And I was like, okay, thanks. So,
and Shanyula, I mentioned earlier the Hello Talk app. That's how I met my Chinese friends ahead of time. And that's a great app. It's used to practice your language. So let's say you speak Chinese and you want to practice your English. You go on and you say you're looking to talk to English people, and the English people looking to speak Chinese, you'll end up in your search box and you can start conversations. So that's a great one. And it's free.
Yes, I like that. But there is another thing as well. If you are in China and you want to meet foreigners, as you said, can we do it without saying I want to practice my English? Because foreigners hate that.
That's true.
It's like, you only want to be friends with me to practice your English? Come on. I do not want to do that. So basically what you could do is also just be a part of foreigner groups. Like, there are tons of groups. No matter where you go, what city you are in China, there was one for foreigners in Changsha. I was looking it up because I was going there and I had to find some people from there. Beijing, we have a bunch of different groups as well on WeChat. Also networking events, just go and be friendly and talk to them because you are interested in them, Don't be like, oh, you're foreigner, great, let's be friends. Like, it's so annoying for expats in China and they're not going to react very positively to that. So try to be a little more calm and just like pretend you're a normal person.
Don't tell them you want to talk. Just talk.
Just talk to them.
Just talk.
Just be nice, ask where they're from.
I got one more point, which is a big one, I think, for foreigners who just go on vacation. This is a big one. The hacking and spitting.
Oh yeah, Theodore just asked about that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It's very common, especially for older men, but I did see some younger guys do it as well. That I think the medical idea behind it is that if you have something bad, it's better to be out of you than in you.
Yeah.
So they have a tendency to always spit out when they have spit in their mouth instead of swallowing.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't as bad as I expected, but you definitely see a lot of I'm not gonna. It would be very unladylike of me to show you an example of the hacking that comes first.
You can hear that in some of my videos.
I could never get it on video.
If you watch the video with my best friend, then from I think it's from March or April, then you can hear somebody is spitting in the back and we're all silent. I would also say there is the one with the children with the hole in the back of their pants.
Oh.
A lot of people don't like that, and also in the smaller cities, like they'll let them pee on the street, or they will let them pee in the trash can in the supermarket. That really surprised me and I didn't like it, but you don't see it that often in Beijing anymore. Like, a lot of children, they wear diapers now. There was also, no, she's not my mom.
No.
Hasib, she's not my mom.
Why does everybody think that? And also I could say the spitting, it wasn't nearly as I heard they did it like everywhere, and they really kind of do it in the street.
And it's old people. It's not.
Oh, I saw young people. I saw a lot of young people doing it. But I gotta tell you though, they have excellent aim, because I saw a lot of them spit right in the dead center of a garbage can with a lid on it. So they have excellent aim.
I just want the last question before we're gonna end here. They asked me if I used a Didi before. So Didi is basically the copy of Uber. Uber worked for half a year in 2016 until Didi, the Chinese one, bought Uber, and now you can't access Uber anymore. You have to use Didi, which is getting a little more pricey because there is not really any like big companies competing against that one. So yeah, I use Didi if I really, really have to. Like last time when I went to the airport, it was just easier to go with Didi. But another really cool thing in China right now is bike sharing. So we share public bikes, which is amazing. We have an app on the phone. You can do everything as somebody said in the comments as well, you can do everything with your WeChat, pay with everything, and WeChat can also help you find a public bike. So that's a really, really cool thing. And yes, don't go with black taxis unless you get a price first. I've done black taxis many, many times, or private people driving me back in the middle of the night. People are super nice, but always get the price before you go.
Karina wants to know, how do we know each other?
Aww. We met in February in China. She found me on YouTube, and then we got together, and I said to her, I'm going to come to Canada to visit you at some point, and 3-4 months later, I'm here now.
Yeah, I also have a YouTube channel, and we did a whole series on Chinese snack tasting, which is really, you should guys check that out.
Yeah.
And there will be a Quebec snack tasting video series to come.
Yes, and I love Stefan for saying, I see you want to stop now, Lena. It was nice to have a kind of discussion. Yeah, it's because last time we talked so long, and I don't want to take up all your time, guys. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you,
from
Francisco.
Hong Kong. Ni hao. Thank you so much for talking with us, and I will be back soon. Like, this is probably our last live stream together this time around.
Yeah, it'll be our live last week. We're going to try and see if there's any way we can do it while we're in 2 different places.
Yeah, we will figure
We
it out.
will see if it's possible.
If anyone knows anything about
let
live
us know.
streaming or anything, just add me on my WeChat, lenaaround, and then we can talk about it. I will get back to Beijing on July 15th. So if you guys want to meet up in Beijing, let me know, and I'll set up a meetup before my parents, they come on 18th. So if you're there, let me know. Let me know in the comments below, or let me know on WeChat. I'll be there. Okay, guys. We are out because we need to film some other really cool videos for you guys.
And make sure to come and check out my channel if you can let me plug myself. The link will be in the description box below.
Yeah.
But I am Culture Eats. Lena will just type in my name right away. I am first and foremost, yesterday I celebrated my 10th blog anniversary. Can you believe that? And I started off doing more like my blog is only about food, which Lena is. That's one thing we don't have in common as much. But I love to do foods from around the world. And then when I went to China, and I had just started YouTube before, so my YouTube channel is a mixture of traveling and food.
Yes, and my Snapchat is lenaaroundx. So you should check that out as well. Remember the X, lenaaroundx. Okay. 再见, guys.
再见.
Bye-bye.
Bye.